kind of like the way he talks about just the way he talks about Takahata. Like you can tell that Miyazaki truly had a deep level of just respect for the man. You know, like
absolutely.
In the highest form. Just the way he says like the Paku-san, we were truly alive at that time. Like what a minimal phrase, but what a crazy amount of emotion goes behind a sentiment like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I at this moment in my life, like I don't think I have reached this level of respect for any human being aside from my parents. So I don't even know, man. I feel terribly for Miyazaki, and I hope that he can channel this into something good, or you know.
That's my hope. You know, he's even sort of poetic in his eulogy speech, and you know, I wonder if this sort of will light a fire in him to inspire him to make a movie in honor of Takahata. And maybe that's selfish on my part, but you know, I want to see Miyazaki sort of recover and take something great out of this and use the inspiration of Takahata's life to create something wonderful. But it was tough to watch him crying like that. So, all right. So, okay. Well, that was sad. Shall we move on?
Yeah, that's a bummer, man.
Yeah. Sorry.
Trust me, even though it's painful to watch it, there's like if you go to like various Japanese news websites, you can find the video. There's like a 15-minute video of. It's mostly that I could find not subtitled, but there is a video where you can watch Miyazaki giving the speech. You can watch other people giving speeches, and they did it in the Studio Ghibli Museum. You can even hear the Studio Ghibli Museum.
Oh, wow.
You guys will recall the music in the Studio Ghibli Museum. Like it's very like soft sort of Ghibli music over top of the whole museum, and they didn't even bother to change the music in the museum for the eulogy. It's the same Ghibli music that you hear every time you visit that museum, and it just makes it worse. Like it just makes it more even more.
That makes it definitely worse because the music alone, when we were there, I was already crying in the museum just from the music alone. The nostalgia hit. Next topic. Next.
All right, so let's move. Let's move on.
Yes, please.
For trouble.
Make it double.
Shut up! You haven't had one useful thing to say since you got here.
All right, so for this one, I encourage you both to click on the link in the Double Trouble section.
I click it.
Yep,
so
I clicked it.
It's well known that another deceased man that we all loved, Robin Williams, was a huge nerd, and his daughter is named Zelda for an obvious reason, and she was digging through some of her father's toy collection. She says he was a massive hoarder, and that he hoarded like tons of toys and crap. And
oh wow.
So she posted a bunch of these toys on Twitter and asked the fans on Twitter to try to help her identify these toys. So I thought maybe we could look through them and see if we can figure out what any of these are. Because I thought that might be a little fun game. Although they did.
Yeah, oh man.
They gave the first one away.
Oh yeah, the first one's easy.
Yeah, the first one is Dune and Newt from Appleseed.
From Appleseed, yeah.
Appleseed.
Which like proves.
I had to do that.
Appleseed. It proves that Miyazaki's not, or that Ron Williams was not just like a casual nerd, like fan of anime, because Appleseed is not like the first thing you would watch.
Totally. There's a lot of people out there that will go a whole lifetime being an anime fan and not watch Appleseed.
Oh, I guess
which is interesting because Ghost in the Shell is so popular.
I guess they sort of identified all of these on here. I was going to see if we could figure them out, but I guess without looking, can you guys tell what... I didn't know any of them. I'm just looking at the pictures. They're all really old.
I see a lot of Warhammer 40k ones.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I don't recognize any of them. I am so bad with figures, dude.
So the second picture is like a fleet of robots. They're scope dogs from Votone.
They look so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what those are from.
Various mechs from the Super Dimensional Fortress, or Super Dimension Century Orgus, which I've never heard of, and Aura Battler Dunbine mechs. There's like a whole bunch of them. They look so antique, by the way.
Yeah.
I know
there's time behind them.
I know they're not antiques because even most of these animes aren't really antiques yet, but they're getting there.
If you hadn't have told me, I would have thought that those were like really old Transformers.
Then there's, as Mandy put it, Warhammer 40k.
Yeah,
crazy
that's
looking
an
figures.
Imperial Reaver.
That thing is badass. It's huge.
Yeah.
Then he's got, like just the next photo is unidentified. They don't know what they are. So
one is a Warhammer, the like the green and purple robot that has like the really long like skinny legs.
Yeah.
That's an Elder Titan.
So,
but I don't know what the other ones are.
She says that he had quote unquote thousands of figures, and that she's trying to figure out what they're from. I mean, just imagine how much money she'll be able to get for thousands of old figures owned by Robin Williams. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
They're worth a jackload of money. And there's just so many. And if you go down to the very bottom, there's like a couple legit looking like bastard swords from.
Yeah, he has swords, dude. These swords look dope as hell.
So Glamdring and Strider's sword/dagger. So.
Yeah.
Strider. What's that from?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's Aragorn's sword.
Replicas of Strider's swords. So if you go to Zelda Williams' Twitter, for those of you listening at home, you don't have to go very far through her history to find this stuff. So if you're kind of curious about the pictures yourself, just go onto her Twitter page and you can look at them. But yeah, I mean, I hate to start the podcast off with 2 deaths, right? But at least the second one isn't so sad. I mean, we all knew that Robin Williams was a big time nerd, but
yeah, I mean, two deaths, but 2 deaths with grandiose legacies. So we're celebrating that. We're celebrating.
But that's a lot of cool stuff behind for us.
Absolutely, this is a celebration of their life, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. Robin Williams was another tough one to deal with, but
yeah, that sucked. That really sucked.
All right, well, let's roll right into the good, the bad, and the moe. So here comes Cram.
Yeah, let's do it.
Howdy, partner. I seen you riding in on that dusty trail. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the moe.
Okay, so Crunchyroll posts a map that reveals the United States' most popular non-sequel spring 2018 anime.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, I looked at this.
So, if you click on the link, you can see all of the stuff that people are watching. And there's like obvious shows that are way out in front. So just looking at the list, it looks like 2 shows are just dominating the hell out of the United States.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Megalobox and Sword Art Online, alternative Gun Gale Online are by far the 2 most prevalent, I would say.
Ooh, New Yorkers with Megalobox, baby, let's get it.
So is Ohio.
So
out of that shit, let's go.
All 3 of us are Megalobox. And
most of the U.S. is Megalobox.
There's sprinklings of some other shows as well, like Georgia. I have trouble with the states right above Florida. I guess that's not Georgia. That's Alabama, maybe. Alabama. Whatever the state directly to. I guess it's the state directly. No, the state directly to the north of Florida is Georgia. So Georgia is watching Golden Kamuy, and Wyoming is watching. What the hell is that?
Pretty
Derby. So Pretty Derby, and whatever the state directly to the west of Texas is watching Hinamatsuri. It's terrible that I don't know all the states, but I really don't. It's either New Mexico or Arizona, and
Persona 5 is #1 in North Dakota?
Yeah, North Dakota for Persona 5, and
Kansas is watching Caligula.
Caligula, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the anime in South Dakota's Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
Oh, nice.
Right?
Vermont and New Hampshire are watching Golden Kamuy and Persona 5 respectively, but most states look like they're Megalobox and Sword Art Online, which honestly is not that shocking. So
I think it is shocking that Gun Gale has like the back, but maybe that's because I live in a bubble with me and a lot of people that I surround myself with all agree that Sword Art is not the best thing in the world.
But it has the name Sword Art behind it, right? So
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I guess I just wasn't impressed with that anime for like the first 3 episodes. That's why I didn't pick it at all for this season. But I'm not surprised about Megalobox because it did start strong. I know you say it starts tripping up a bit, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Megalobox is leading in 22 out of 50 states. Gun Gale Online is leading in 14 out of 50 states. So.
That's a lot. That's a lot for Gun. I mean, like, I'm serious. I did not expect Gun Gale to have any.
I think so because
really.
I mean, PUBG is really popular right now, and that show is basically, instead of doing like the MMO approach, it's kind of doing the PUBG sort of approach. So I'm not surprised
that's a good
at all.
point. That's a super good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from that. For the Moe, this is so dumb. Stan Lee files lawsuit against POW Entertainment seeking $1 billion in damages. This guy, I know people love Stan Lee, but he sounds like an old-ass curmudgeon, like, completely detached from society and probably needs to be in a nursing home after this.
Grumpy old man.
Stan Lee filed a lawsuit because he alleges that the company forged or fraudulently obtained exclusive rights to Lee's name, images, and likeness. Lee does not grant exclusive rights to anything regarding his name and would not have done this, as he says. The suit states that POW Entertainment took control of Lee's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts without permission, and he has continually been pleading with the world to figure out who has stolen his social media accounts, and filed a $1 billion lawsuit. Like who the hell? I know he's Stan Lee, but who the hell does he think he is? Like, nowhere in no planet on Earth is this worth anywhere remotely close to $1 billion. I would say
$1 billion is quite the sum of money.
He probably couldn't even claim $1 million for this. So he needs to go like to a nursing home or something, because that just makes me annoyed. So he does. I mean, $1 billion. You're talking about like. You're talking about somebody like ripping off the iPhone for 30 years and making tons of sales off of it. No one made a damn bit of dollars off of Stan Lee's Twitter account. So let's dial it back with the madness. Ugh.
I would like to see the numbers in the charts of the lawyers that convinced him this was the amount of money of damages he took, because I see. Like, I understand there could be damages to likeness, to reputation. He's at the end of his life, so he's trying to make sure that his name and likeness are like reputable and put together for when he dies, so that can be a thing. But $1 billion.
$1 billion. Stan Lee's not worth
really large.
Stan Lee isn't worth.
Some countries don't make that much money.
His net worth is not $1 billion. So what in the hell is he doing? It's stupid.
Well, I mean, after Marvel's success, who's to say? I need to recheck that again. But I mean, just from this case, from this scenario, I do not even believe $1 billion is remotely close to like what the
Stan Lee's
this could be in damages.
According to Celebrity Net Worth, Stan Lee is worth $50 million. So yeah, I'm sure someone taking over your Facebook is worth 20 times your net worth. Time for the 95-year-old man to go to the nursing home. And no, I'm not one of those people that like blindly worship Stan Lee. I don't give a shit. All right, I skipped over the bad. So
yeah, I was gonna remind you skipped over the bad.
Now that everybody hates me for hating on Stan Lee, Shenmue 3's PS4/PC game release has been delayed again to 2019. So the company stated that the release would be pushed back. It was supposed to come out in the second half of 2018, but now it's coming out in 2019. And they said, "quote The extra time will be used to polish the quality of the game even further." To the high standards that it deserves, and they will release the product in the best possible time frame. So, and again, this was a Kickstarter that has started like 3 years ago. I
remember that.
When Sony announced it at E3 way back then. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I remember that when that Kickstarter started. Didn't it launch at like E3 a year?
Yes.
Yeah, it did, right?
They announced it there.
It was announced at E3, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm all for polishing games, taking time to polish games, because you don't want to release it, unfinished. But I mean, I don't know. Kickstarters can be double-edged swords. Let's just hope it's good.
I mean, all right. So going back to Stan Lee for 5 seconds, am I wrong for saying he needs to be in a nursing home? Like, here's the story.
Yeah, I mean that I definitely don't agree with that, but I do agree that that's $1 billion is a lot.
But listen,
That's a lot of money.
But listen, like, you can just imagine how the scene went down, right? He's sitting in front of a bunch of lawyers, and you got like this man who barely even knows who he is anymore because he's so damn old, and like he's sitting there, and they're going, "Oh yeah, this is worth $1 billion. It is, wink, wink, and they like they're like, I could just see him being manipulated as hell by some 35-year-old lawyer,
I definitely can see that too, but like you realize like that's like the biggest assumption in the world to make, though, right?
I mean, I'm not making an assumption so much as I'm saying that anybody who thinks that nearly any lawsuit ever is worth $1 billion needs to go have their head examined, because I'm not sure any lawsuit ever has been worth $1 billion from an individual person, not from like a corporation.
Yeah, no. I'm with you there, but I agree. I agree that $1 billion is a crazy money.
The fact that he thinks that this is worth $1 billion might mean that he's a crazy ass old man and needs to go figure his shit out, because, unless you're like Chevron suing the United States for falsely accusing them of having an oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico, which I'm sorry is way of a bigger deal than Stan Lee. That's super damaging right there for sure. But you're talking about destruction of the ocean. We're not talking about someone had their Facebook account taken allegedly. Like, that's not worth anything. It's worth $5.
Did you see that? Peter Wright in the YouTube chat says that Dr. Evil is probably representing Stan Lee in court.
Probably is. Like, what? This makes Stan Lee look. Honestly, to me, it makes him look like he's an idiot.
I saw it too.
He looks like an idiot for this.
Wait, Mitz, can you say, my client deserves $1 billion, and Dr. Evil's always please?
Well, my client deserves $1 billion.
Perfect.
That is a comic book.
Stanley,
right, that's good shit.
Stanley, I know you've made your career out of making heroes, but perhaps today you'd like to try to be evil.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway. Okay, so the trivia. Moving on. Yeah. So the trivia. This week's answer is the last question in the Tokyo Boroughs trivia, which was you have to name the Tokyo borough based off of the image, and this time it was Shinjuku, which is normally identifiable because of how many like neon signs and stuff there are. Mm-hmm. And the winner this week was Kurt Dog. So good job.
Kurt Dog.
But as Cherryface had won 2 of the prior trivias, Cherryface has indeed won the trivia for this month. So I reached out to Cherryface already, and they have already selected their prize. Ooh. So I'll be getting that out to them as soon as I can. The new trivia theme is much like the old trivia theme.
Oh snap!
It's almost exactly the same.
Japan sightseeing. So I will give you a piece of an image of a popular monument or thing or place or something that tourists go look at, and you have to tell me what the what it is. Like, it could be, like some temple someplace, for example.
Yeah. Okay. A topic for the guys out there.
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying?
All right. So we're going to head to the news break. And when we come back, we're going to be launching into a topic that Mandy and Enzo are going to feast on like wild animals. We're going to be talking about
mostly me.
Iyashikei anime of today and yesterday. So suggested by Pika from the Discord channel. So stay tuned for that. And later we have Recovery of an MMO Junkies review. So stay tuned, and we'll be back after the news break.
Did we do our weekly trivia question?
Oh, I forgot it. Mandy,
that's why we got Mandy, dude.
Yeah, where will we be without her? Because I'm obviously a mess.
I have no idea. Mandy does all the pictures and the thumbnails and the overlays. Oh my god.
I do all the things.
Well, Mandy, since you were strong-headed enough to remember this, unlike me, why don't you read the trivia question for us?
Yeah, our in-show trivia question, which we'll answer after the news break, is what kind of car does Takumi Fujiwara drive in Initial D?
Okay, that's it. Simple as that. And when we come back, we'll have that answer as well, so stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, this is Mitsugi, and it's time for your first anime news break. Leading us off, the July issue of Comic Ryu magazine announced that the manga Oshi ga Budokan Ite Kuretara Shinu will get an anime adaptation. Here's a synopsis directly from my anime list. I'm going to read it directly as it's written because its grammar is very poor. Slight burn for my anime list. Cham Jam is an indies idol group that is active at Okayama Prefecture. There is a fan who supports the least popular member, Mana Ichi. She used up all of her incomes to her, and all she wears is red jersey from high school. She would nosebleed during the live because she loves her too much. She is the legendary Eddie Pio. Until Mana gets her Budokan, Eddie Pio's full idol otaku life continues. So it sounds like another idol show about a fan that is obsessed with an idol girl. So if that sounds like something that appeals to you, look out for that coming up. I don't know exactly when that's going to release, but it should be sometime soon. Next up, Sapporo, the beer company in Japan, is doing a nice little collaboration with an anime property. Sapporo announced that they are going to be releasing an adaptation, a collaboration with Golden Kamui that will feature beer cans that have the main character Saiichi Sugimoto branded on the front. They do look very classy, I will say, and definitely seem like something that could be a beer can. They will go on sale on July 18th, and they will be available only in Hokkaido, the setting of the anime Golden Kamui. Also, there is a campaign going on where people can win one of 150 packs of 6 regular Sapporo Classic beers and a set of 2 glasses with collaboration art from Golden Kamui. So that's pretty cool. Don't know how you'll participate in that, but if you're in Hokkaido, maybe you'll be able to check it out. And but it's cool to see anime properties and big companies doing collaborations together. Next up, Konami, the video game company we all seem to hate because of how poorly they treat their employees, has posted a 24.3% increase in profits in 2017. So despite how much we hate them, we still seem to buy all of their stuff. They reported a revenue of 239 billion yen, about $2.19 billion in the fiscal year that ended March 31st, 2018, which is an increase of 2.4% from the previous year. The operating profit increased 24.3%. Their biggest segments are digital entertainment, which includes mobile games, card games, video games. The second highest earning segment was amusement machines, such as arcade machines. So the arcade machine and digital and online content is booming, and Konami is taking advantage of that. So, well, good for them, I guess. Next up, Rurouni Kenshin is getting yet another stage play adaptation. The play will make its debut at the Shinbashi Enjo Theater in Tokyo from October 11th to November 7th, and will be followed by a run at the Shochizuka Theater in Osaka in the middle of November. So if you're a fan of Rurouni Kenshin, there's more coming, and the characters that are playing the cast are very attractive people, so you might want to check it out online just to see what they look like. And that's it. This was Mitsugi, and this was your first anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast.
Mitsugi, you'll never believe what happened at the bar the other day. This couple walked in. And they pulled out their phone and started showing me pictures. And so they had this cucumber and they put it right up.
Whoa, stop. Save it for the hentai episode.
Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, Mitsugi.
Yeah, Chiaki?
Have you been keeping up with Persona 5?
No, I fell behind, actually.
Dude, the end of the game is completely insane. We have to talk about it, like, right now.
Well, let's do it on the Hobby Addicts.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, though, the listener. Want to know what we're talking about?
Then go to AAAPodcast.com/join to get after parties, hentai episodes, and more.
Yep, almost 8 extra episodes of content a month for less than $1 an episode. Go to AAAPodcast.com/join to become a true addict.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。
There's no audio. Oh, what the hell happened? Are you guys still there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, hello.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, we're here.
Something is very wrong.
Something is very wrong.
This is very
I
difficult.
think
Very
means we're
difficult to
still.
do.
No, I think we're okay. I think the break music stopped.
It did.
Yeah.
All right,
We're live.
and welcome
Yeah.
back to the 422nd episode of the Anime X Novice podcast. So, before we left off, we had an intro trivia question, and who wants to read it this time? It was Mandy before, but, you know.
I can do it, of course.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
You
so
can
the
read?
intro.
Oh, you think you're tough because you can read? Okay.
I am so tough because I can read. First grade was super good. Okay. The intro weekly trivia question is: what kind of car does Takumi Fujiwara drive in Initial D? What's the answer, Mitz?
It's an AE86 Toyota AE86 Toyota Terreno. And the first time I was in Japan and I saw this exact car, I nearly crapped myself and had to take like 4 pictures of it while I was driving.
Does it look cool in person?
No, it looks like a piece of shit. But the fact, but the fact that it was, but that's the point of the anime, right? Because Takumi is so good. He's whooping all these guys with this junk car, right? And so like, it's God. Initial D was so good for the first few seasons. It was just amazing. Like the first 2 seasons of Initial D are just incredible. So
I need to revisit that because I know here's the thing. I know I've watched Initial D. I don't remember what happens in Initial D.
Well, there's the duct tape match where they have to drift down the mountain with their hands duct taped to the wheel. So which makes it like almost impossible to turn hard enough for a hairpin turn. So that, like they're risking their lives. Then there's like the scene where Takumi is like dipping his wheel down into the gutter on the side of the road so he can like drift right against the corner. And then the other guy tries to do it, and he flips his car like up and through the air, like it does like a flip in the air and lands on its top, like that. There's that. Then there's the scene where Takumi turns his lights out in the pitch darkness so he can pass the other car without him knowing that he's passing. Like there's so many cool things they do.
That literally all sounds so anime.
It's so cool, dude. And Initial D manga, the manga, by the way, is also ridiculously good. It is so good.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the only manga that I actually have owned more than 20 volumes of it.
That sounds interesting.
Monster?
No, I've never read the manga of Monster.
Oh, wow.
Even though I know it's like basically top shit for manga.
I wonder how they portray the races in the manga. That's interesting.
It's the exact same as the anime. It's like cut for cut the same. So it's so good. And the music, all that like Eurobeat music is so like fits
that's
so
good
well.
times. That's good times.
I love it. All right, so Pika wanted us to discuss Iyashikei anime. And we know that particularly Mandy has a deep love of this genre. And I don't know a lot about it. I think I've seen probably a number of them, but I can't say, okay, well this anime is an Iyashikei anime. This one isn't. Like I'm not really sure. So I'm hoping to learn something today from you, Mandy. So
cool. Do you want to go ahead and take the wheel?
Let it rip.
Yeah, school us, please.
Alrighty. Iyashikei is like a subgenre, and it's very exclusive to anime and manga. It's the Iyashikei is the Japanese word for healing, and it's a term used for specifically anime and manga created with the specific purpose of having a healing or soothing effect on the audience. And works usually involve very like alternate realities. They emphasize nature and bonding and the little delights in life, and they don't really have a whole lot of conflict in them, if any, very little, and they tend to be episodic. They merge with the slice of life genre, although not all slice of life can be considered.
Yeah, I was going to say it's sounding like slice of life-ish. So
yeah, but I mean, like, there's a lot of slice of life that wouldn't be considered healing.
Yeah, totally. Like working, not healing.
Yeah, not healing.
It's just dumb shit happens in the anime, which I love, but it's not healing, you know?
Yeah, definitely. They tend to be very quiet and tranquil, like Mushishi and Bartender. Some are more focused on hobbies or interests that a person can relate to, such as like You Do Camp, which is the one that came out recently about camping.
Right.
And Wakako Zake is a short where a girl or woman goes after work every day to a different restaurant, enjoys food, and likes to always have a cup of sake with it. And it's just watching her just enjoy food, and she talks about why she loves it. And some revolve around just the bonding of family and friends, like Sweetness and Lightning, Poco's Udon World, and recently we had How to Raise a Mummy, and that one was a bunch of friends coming together over like these little like supernatural creatures and just creating like a deep friendship together. And I think what definitely Iyashikei have that, or I mean lack that other maybe slice of lives would have is they never have like dramatic highs or dramatic lows in their stories. They kind of always keep it very even pace.
Okay.
So like,
that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like something that would have a lot of drama in it that would like I'm trying to think of like, for example, Your Lie in April. That has too much drama in it for it to be considered like an Iyashikei.
Yeah. So and that makes sense to me because in terms of like when you think about stories in like the literary sense, drama is a tool to cause stress because stress is has a very negative connotation because like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out, but like stress is still enduring. It's like enduring something. So like if you introduce drama into a story, you are inducing stress upon your viewers or listeners. Not like pain stress, but just stress, like the definition of stress. So I can see how Iyashikei would just take the monotone, not monotone, but like the plateau their rising action, and not have a real climax or anything, because then you don't have to opt into that stress. You're just kind of there for the ride.
Yeah, I think kind of like the Iyashikei would probably be best. Like I think the best way to describe it, it's something that you would watch when you're just trying to wind down. You don't want to watch anything too that would require too much thinking. You just want to relax, maybe have tea or coffee or something, and just chill. That's basically the best way of describing an Iyashikei. Not a whole lot of action. Not a whole lot of drama going on. Just something you can just chill out and shut your mind off to.
So I looked up a list of Iyashikei anime, and Google has a ton of them. And I'm looking through the list, and I see some of these that I'm thinking, and I'm not sure if these really are or not. Like, have you seen Habane Renmei?
I don't know that. I don't know if that's a Iyashikei.
They count that.
What is it again?
Habane Renmei, which has a lot of dark shit in it. Like, the whole anime, I'm pretty sure, is just about purgatory. So, like, that doesn't seem like it's going to heal very many people. So maybe that's just a miscategorization.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Azumanga Daihyo they have listed as an Iyashikei.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
I mean, do you feel like that counts as an Iyashikei anime? Because to me, that's like a 4-panel school comedy. But maybe it is. I don't know.
I've seen a lot of people list it before. I think what Iyashikei have that a lot of, like, it's basically a feeling. They all provide a different kind of feeling, but they all exist in different genres. Like Mishishi is an Iyashikei, but some episodes, even though they can have a kind of a darker tone to them, it's still very quiet and tranquil. And even though something on the screen is kind of messed up, you never really get stressed out by watching it. You're like, oh, that was interesting, but it's still a very quiet anime.
Do you feel like another way to classify these would be like anime that are meditative?
Yes, definitely.
That's sort of what I'm getting. Like, it's just like this calm, peaceful, even keel, like relaxing thing that just kind of lets you sink into it and forget about whatever's happening in your life, and you just meditate with it.
Yeah.
Just kind of
And I think within that, like, I'm just gonna like say this like kind of like blanketing statement, but like obviously like this definition of Iyashikei is not like black and white. Like, there's obviously room for subjectivity. to what people consider an Iyashikei. So, because I know there's people in the chat that are pointing out, I'm like, well, this wasn't an Iyashikei, but like this has climax. Like, yeah, dude, like it's not all like check these 4 boxes and you have an Iyashikei. Like,
yeah, definitely. This is a subgenre.
Guys, yeah, it's a subgenre. You said it at the beginning.
And also, like, someone was asking if Iyashikei anime are devoid of conflict, how can you determine the quality? I think if you're trying to determine the quality, you're missing the point of it, though. Because they're just for a feeling. They're kind of they just exist to put you in a mood, like, or to enhance whatever mood you're in. Like, something that, like, for example, Yuru Camp. If you have an interest in camping, you might just enjoy watching it. Just enjoy watching other girls just sitting around enjoying camping together.
Yeah, like it's like the way I enjoyed I really enjoyed Sweetness and Lightning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because not that I'm trying to be a father right now, but like being a father is something that I like, look forward to doing with my life. I do want to raise a family. So like seeing Sweetness and Lightning, it was just really nice for me. Like I just sat there and I watched his father try really hard for his daughter and learn to cook for her. And there's nothing, there's no life-changing drama in that. It's just like yeah, man, like good shit, dude. Like, yeah, cook for your daughter. That's so nice of you. Like, that's nice. And that's it. That's all that was.
Would you consider My Neighbor Totoro as a Iyashikei?
Oh, interesting. Because okay.
It's so calm and just like countryside life.
Maybe, dude.
It's kind of like countryside life, very peaceful. There are a couple moments of like conflict in it, like when May goes missing at the end. But like, other than that, it's just like, oh my god, look at the little tadpoles in the river and let's go hike in the forest.
You know what I think would qualify even more is My Neighbor's the Yamadas. That definitely feels like an Iyashikei to me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And they list Only Yesterday, which is the Ghibli movie I haven't watched in like a decade.
I saw that recently, actually. So
they count that. That's listed as a Iyashikei.
I could see that. I could see that because I went to go see that literally maybe just a year ago in theaters here, and I wasn't expecting. It was my first time seeing it. I wasn't expecting anything. So what I got was just like what it was, and what it was just like this woman going back to this old town and just like living there. Like that's all that is, right? Like am I thinking about the wrong movie? Yeah, like Only Yesterday is the most calm thing I watched in a movie theater ever.
I mean, it's about, not to get sidetracked on Only Yesterday, but it's about a woman that goes back to visit the place where she grew up.
Right.
Yeah.
And sort of gets her priorities in life straightened out. So, which is
I could use that, honestly. I need to get my shit together in my life. As I'm currently chugging a Red Bull, I'm about to lose my shit, guys.
I want a Red Bull so bad right now. Can I have a Red Bull, Enzo? Enzo, buy me a Red Bull.
No.
Buy me a Red Bull.
But yeah, I think Iyashikei are good complements to whatever else you are currently watching. If you're watching a whole lot of action, or a whole lot of like really depressing, dramatic shows, not that those aren't good, but sometimes it's nice to just chill out and watch something that you're not.
Chillax.
Yeah, just to chillax too.
Yeah, and I think the chat, once again, it's coming hot. I love when our YouTube chat is like on board with the discussion. I like that Sock Creature is saying that it's a very good counterpoint subgenre to watch if you're like, just like you said, man, like if you're watching heavier stuff and you're like, okay, like that was a lot just now, then you turn on one of these, you're just like, and now I can just like sit and like appreciate this, because in my experience, a lot of Iyashikei are like animated very beautifully because the subtle things in these shows have to shine. Right?
Oh, definitely.
So
a
that's
big
like,
emphasis on nature too.
Totally. So and I was just saying, like in Natsume, like I'm not the most experienced watcher of Natsume, but maybe you can correct me.
my face just lit up.
I know, but like in Natsume, like the world is like just fucking beautiful. Like it is it's so pretty and it's lit up super well. And then the way Natsume is the guy's name, right?
Yeah, Natsume Takashi.
Yeah. So the way Natsume moves is very graceful, and like that is very like I don't know. You know, it's just animated really well.
Natsume is my oh man, it means a lot to me. It's my mood anime. It is my anti like depression drug.
Big
I love
mood.
Natsume to death, and
Natsume
I
is a
think
big mood.
it's my big mood.
I think it's nice that you have something like that you can enjoy and feel that way about.
I think a lot of Iyashikei can be that for a person.
Totally.
Because that's what the point of it is. It's to heal you, and Natsume always does that. Even the music will put me to tears.
Oh.
I have such a very strong love and connection to it. But so yeah,
I'm trying to think about what Iyashikei in my life have like really done it for me. This is so hard because I have trouble. Slice of life is like one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite genre. So I'm having trouble like getting to like really pure Iyashikei and not like picking a slice of life instead. Like I thought working was healing, but maybe working is Iyashikei for me. Is that a fair statement to make?
I think that's a very fair statement. I've seen a lot of debating when I was doing research through this. There's a lot of debates people go through, like, does this count? Does this count? Because a lot of people listen to Shishi. A lot of people are like, I don't know, because there's some occasional episodes with some dark stuff in it. And that's not very healing. It's like, yeah, but it's also very quiet. I think it really depends on you. So yeah, if you find working to be healing and puts you in a meditative state, then sure, go for it.
Are Iyashikei anime your happy dance?
They're my happy dance.
I like that.
They're my chill out and not want to leave this sofa dance.
So that's cool because I'm glad that that's like a thing because I do just like people like, for example, like I found in recent seasons, like I found Just Because to be extremely fucking healing for me because my life is, at that time, my life was literally chaos, and like every minute of my life was just like stress. So then seeing people move their life forward in such a slow pace was like, wow, yeah,
I can definitely see that.
Like,
yeah.
wow, like this is like, I just wish I could like take a week to decide one thing. Like, wow, like, you know. So I found that to be at the time like what I needed in my life, and I think that's why I backed it so hard until that anime betrayed the fuck out of me in the last episode. So fuck that anime. But before that, it was the cup of tea that I needed to sip on because I was running around all over the place, and I was busy season at work. I had a band I was practicing 2 times a week, and I had the podcast now. So I was just always thinking about stuff. So whenever I got to watch Just Because, I was like, yeah, this is me time. You know, this is like the me time that I need. And working was very similar. Working, I watched in college. I binged all the seasons that were out in college during like the 2 weeks before finals because I was like, yo, like this anime just calms me the heck down and makes me laugh. It just makes me giggle and laugh, and I just needed that, you know. So
yeah,
that's
sure.
cool. I really do respect this genre immensely because I know I am one of those people that find calm in you know things like this where like the story is not meant to take you down a road. It's just meant to be like, hey, like let's chill out. So that's good.
Sure.
Like, I appreciate this stuff a lot.
Did you see Love Is Like a Cocktail?
Yeah. Well, not all of it, but is that the wife that's blonde comes home to husband that makes her cocktails every day?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. See, like I love that.
No, that is for sure. Yeah, I thought we talked about that at one time.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good Iyashikei recently that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet. I also think oh wait, we haven't talked about like Tanaka-kun is like
oh yeah,
wonderful.
It's
wonderful. It's a wonderful anime about literally nothing. It's just this dude going through his life. You know,
yeah.
Which is so funny.
Who doesn't want to do anything?
He doesn't want to do shit.
I ended up watching Tanaka-kun like 5 times in a row. It was so bad. Like, I watched it by myself, and I watched it with my sister, and then I watched it in the watch party, and I just kept going. I couldn't get enough of it. But, because I think Iyashikei give you like a special fuzzy feeling inside, and Tanaka-kun definitely did that for me.
Definitely. I'm trying to think about like what other shows, or how to like measure how Iyashikei a show is. Do you think that like I'm trying to think of like, are there anime out there that are not Iyashikei but will have Iyashikei arcs? Like, I think I feel like that's possible.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
You know, like
I'm trying to think one off the top of my head, but
like Mitz, you tell me, like in oh my god, in Clannad,
Yep.
the parts that weren't the worst were very nice to watch, right?
Not really.
No,
I mean,
why do I always paint Clannad with like pink rose color? I always think Clannad was so sweet and loving, and it's always, everyone's like, no, it's depressing as fuck. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
Clannad is like even the beginning of it, which is just like small sub arcs of side characters. Even those are depressing. So like, Clannad definitely kind of tugs at your heart the whole time. So it's not really, I don't know, doesn't seem like a very good representation of what you guys are discussing. You know, because to me, like, everybody has problems in their lives, and everybody has like pain that they feel, and or drama or baggage or whatever, and you know, because of that, anybody has the ability to identify with a show like this that just kind of helps you step out of your problem zone. And I think that like there are other types of media as well that sort of do this. Like there are video games, I feel like, that do this type of thing. Like, you know, I think of like a Journey.
Oh, for sure.
Like a Journey or something like that. Just like one of those,
like Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, Stardew Valley is a good one.
Stardew Valley is like the most Iyashikei shit I've played in forever.
Definitely.
You just raise a damn farm, dude.
That's all you do. You just
all you do.
Farm, and it's so meditative.
There's like, I don't even know. Is there like a high score at all for like Stardew Valley?
I mean, no. I mean, you just try to get as much money as possible, I guess.
Right. But like, with the whole thing, it's just like, it's like, it's winter. Like, should I plant this? No. Should I plant that? No. I should plant this so that I have this in the summer. Like, yeah, that was really like calming to just try and play, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, I don't think Clannad not really a good choice. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's just sad.
Again, I think this is the second time in the podcast where like I reference Clannad in like a happy way, and then everyone's just like, "No, Enzo, it's not a good thing."
Enzo loves depressing things.
I do love depressing things, though. There's that subjectivity again. Where like the sadder the shit is, the more I relate most of the time. I'm just like, yeah, fuck me up, fam.
I think one that I definitely want to give a shout out to, because I don't know if this is the first one that where this started becoming a thing, but I know it's definitely the first one that I can think of. I'm sure there's others I just don't know of, but that's Yokohama Shopping Trip, which is also, I think the Japanese name is Yokohama Maedashi Kiko, and it's definitely one of the earlier ones. The manga came out in '94, and I think there are a few OVAs out right now. But it's a story about Alpha, who's a robot living in like post-apocalyptic Japan. She just runs a cafe, and she travels around with a scooter and a camera that she connects to inside her mouth. And I think what's cool about that one is just you get to see a lot of the scenery and what happened like to Japan. Because I if I remember correctly, because it doesn't have an official English translation, the manga. So the only way to find it is through scans, unfortunately. And I think from '94, it's not going to get an English translation, so I think you're safe there. But if I remember correctly, Japan is like, most of Japan's underwater now. And what's interesting is just that she just travels around and meets different humans and robots, because this is like in the future. And that's all. Everyone's living a very simple life, just trying to get by, and it's a really calming experience.
That sounds sweet, because it's probably an Iyashikei that like wants to highlight some like core values of humanity and how we're still human no matter like what the scenario is.
Yeah,
you know, like it's post-apocalyptic, but I wonder if like that manga or OVAs, if they just show like, yeah, like the world is a lot different now, but like humans are humans, and this is me showing you that.
Yeah,
that sounds very nice. An anime that came to my mind that I know Mitz likes too. I see, like this is where like this is like the line blurs for me a lot. unfortunately, because maybe I just haven't watched a lot of. Maybe I've just watched a lot of slice of life and not like pure Iyashikeis. Maybe that's where my line blurs a bit. But I found like Honey and Clover to be extremely like what I needed in my life at one point too. You've seen Honey and Clover, right, Miss?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess I can see that. You know, Honey and Clover has a lots of the characters have lots of problems. You know, that's what it's about, is figuring things out. But I can see how that would probably qualify.
Yeah, but I don't remember a lot of like super life altering problems. It's more just like people working their shit out. You know.
Yeah. There are other Ghibli movies too. Now that I'm thinking about it, that might qualify in this subgenre. Like Kiki's Delivery Service might fit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean that movie coming out around the same time as My Neighbor Totoro, and of course we already mentioned My Neighbors the Yamadas, and yeah, I mean I'm not really sure about other ones that might fit in that group, because they all seem to have like a very poignant conflict that needs to be resolved, and lots of action sometimes and other things, but those two definitely feel like this to me. And those are back-to-back creations by Miyazaki, so there might have been a point in Miyazaki's life or something where he had a reason that he just wanted to make content that was, you know, peaceful and soothing for people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he was having a tough time in his life during those 10 years and wanted to make something that like reflected the way that he wanted to feel as opposed to how he really felt. I mean, I don't know, you'd have to ask him. So but yeah,
I wish we could imagine one of us had Miyazaki on speed dial.
Oh
speed dial. Oh.
Imagine. Okay.
He'd be so angry at you.
He actually would be, I think. Okay. Quick. Okay, Mitz, if you had Miyazaki on speed dial and you could ask him one question right now, what would you ask him?
Man, you're putting me on the spot with a question like that.
Yeah, just ask him, dude. You got to ask him one question. Mandy, you're next, by the way.
Oh, I'm on deck? Or shoot?
Oh yeah, you're on deck.
I mean, I might ask him something like, you know, where he what the, if I was asking him a serious question, I'd be like, you know, what are the formative types of things that led you down the path that you're on right now? Like what is the inspiration that keeps you going? How do you continue to feel motivated to create more and more works when you've already achieved so much success? You know, and that's like the kind of question I would ask a lot of famous people. You know, it's like
what's the drive? What's the source of the drive?
Yeah, it's like a Tom Brady, for example. He's got 5 Super Bowl rings, more than anybody.
He doesn't have to play another game in his life, but he's still out there.
Yeah, like Tom Brady. Like, why do you need another ring? Like, what is it that compels you to want another one? You know, for example, or, you know, Steven Spielberg. You're already worth $1 billion or whatever. What is it that makes you want to have to continually push yourself? You know, aren't you happy just sort of sitting back and enjoying the rest of your life in peace? But these people don't seem to feel that way. Like they have to continually grind. So you know, they're just grinders. And I wonder how they keep, like what the fuel is that they put in their engine to make that happen. Yeah.
All right, Mandy, you're next. Just quick shout out to the people in the live chat. What would you ask Miyazaki? Okay, Mandy. I'm just super curious right now. Mandy, what would you ask him?
Anime. Truly a mistake.
Oh shit.
Just kidding.
Oh shit.
I don't know. Is there anything that you truly regret in any of your shows?
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
I think
interesting.
I think I would ask him just like the most open-ended question. I'd just be like, "Hey, Miyazaki-san, like, are you satisfied?"
You should call up Miyazaki and go, "Hey, can I get a pizza?"
Hey, Miyazaki-san, I'm hungry as hell. Could you order me a Domino's pizza to New York, please? Thanks, dude.
He'd be like, oh.
I feel like
he would hate you.
Yaro. Anime wa machigaeta koto da.
Oh my god.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, he would hate you for sure. He'd hang up on you.
Yeah, he wouldn't pick up, dude. He would know. He'd be like, oh my god, it's fucking it.
He's probably spitting the phone to the extent that you could literally feel the saliva through your mouth, through your earpiece, and then like you can just see like the visual image of like Miyazaki's tongue coming out of your phone and licking your ear like in like a Nightmare on Elm Street.
This image of Miyazaki in my head. He would blow cigarette smoke through the phone at me.
Up your ass.
What would happen? God damn it! I don't want Miyazaki smoke up my ass, please.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay. Well, I just want to know. Thanks for indulging me in that, guys.
All right, so
No problem. It's fun.
You're welcome, Enzo.
It was a nice distraction.
I'm still not buying you a pizza.
That's okay. I've come to terms with this.
Okay. All right, so are we done with the Iyashikei?
Did anyone else stuff any of our favorites?
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
All right, because I saw it on our doc. What are your recommendations?
Assuming.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't have. I didn't recommend anything because like I really was unsure what the line is, but I guess I can think of them now that we've talked about that.
I think it's going to be up to you ultimately, but definitely Natsume, Mushishi, and Tanaka-kun. Those are my three. Those are actually top three of my like favorite anime.
Assuming that they count, my three favorite would be Princess Mononoke, or not Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Haibane Renmei. Even though I'm not convinced Haibane Renmei counts because it's just too dark, but they have it listed, so I don't know. Someone thinks it is.
You know, I've seen some people list Death Parade, so I don't know. That one really surprised me. I think that one is crossing a line, but yeah, I just saw it on a list somewhere. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh my guys, my heart is beating so fast. I am hyper as hell. But
stop! How do you get Red Bull's awful for you?
Can I just stop you for a minute and just say that?
Yeah.
Like for multiple years, I drank a 5-hour energy every morning.
Yeah.
And as a person with ADHD, I always felt that I was self-medicating myself because ADHD medicine is mostly just amphetamines. And like, I swear to God, I'm not even trying to be like a hard ass. I can drink a 5-hour energy and immediately go to sleep. Like, it doesn't affect me. It has no impact on me whatsoever. Drinking Red Bull to me is like drinking water. I can't feel it at all. So to hear someone say, I'm ready to hit the roof off of this Red Bull, I have two thoughts. One, I'm jealous of you because you can drink this drink and just feel energized, and I never will get that. And two, you're a pussy.
I actually don't drink a lot of caffeine a lot. So I know people. I love coffee, but I actually don't drink coffee every day. I drink coffee like I don't know, like once a week, twice a week, maybe. So like this hits me like any caffeine. So I drink coffee say tomorrow, then I won't drink it for like 5 days. When I drink that next cup of coffee, I go through the roof again because I'm jittery out of my mind. And so I don't drink caffeine like that.
There's a place near me that if you ever come visit me, there's a place.
Yes.
It's an Italian market. That has like a deli where they serve you can get hot sandwiches. They have a hot Italian sandwich that will blow your face off. It's so good. It's so good I cry when I eat it. And then right next to that, inside the market, there's a coffee shop counter where you can sit down and eat your sandwich. Man. And they will serve you coffee. And like if you get the coffee out of the dispenser to take it home with you, it has oil all over the beans. It's so fresh that the beans are covered in oil. Dude, you can have the best sandwich and the best coffee of your life when you visit Mitsugi.
Yeah, I actually love grounding up my own beans for coffee. It's like my favorite way to drink, like grounding them up, and then using my French fries. I just bit my tongue again. Ow!
Damn, dude. Well.
Anyway, my 3 recommendations for Iyashikei is probably Sweetness and Lightning, Tanaka-kun, and Beck. I found Beck to be what got me going in life. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's head to the news break.
Yeah.
So that was a good topic. I hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you again to Pika for your suggestion. Head over to our Discord channel if you want to make a topic suggestion. I do pick through those pretty frequently. And on the top page on the top bar of the website, AAAPodcast.com, once again, there's a button that says go to the Discord. That'll take you to the Discord, and that's where you would submit your topic requests. So I definitely encourage that. There's a pretty thriving community on there, and I'd like to keep it that way. So go help to further enhance the awesome friendships that we're building on the Discord. So
yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys in a few minutes after the news break. When we come back, we're going to be doing a review on Recovery of an MMO addict, but before that, we have a trivia question for you. One more. Who wants to read this in show trivia?
I got it. In Dragon Ball Z, Cell absorbs androids 16, 17, and 18, but in which order?
In which order? That's the key. All right, we'll see you guys after the news break, so stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, this is Mitsugi, and it's time for your first anime news break. Leading us off, the July issue of Comic Ryu magazine announced that the manga Oshi ga Budokan Ite Kuretara Shinu will get an anime adaptation. Here's a synopsis directly from my anime list. I'm going to read it directly as it's written because its grammar is very poor. Slight burn for my anime list. Cham Jam is an indies idol group that is active at Okayama Prefecture. There is a fan who supports the least popular member, Mana Ichi. She uses up all of her incomes to her, and all she wears is red jersey from high school. She would nosebleed during the live because she loves her too much. She is the legendary Eddie Pio. Until Mana gets her Budokan, Eddie Pio's full idol otaku life continues. So it sounds like another idol show about a fan that is obsessed with an idol girl. So if that sounds like something that appeals to you, look out for that coming up. I don't know exactly when that's going to release, but it should be sometime soon. Next up, Sapporo, the beer company in Japan, is doing a nice little collaboration with an anime property. Sapporo announced that they are going to be releasing a collaboration with Golden Kamui that will feature beer cans that have the main character Saiichi Sugimoto branded on the front. They do look very classy, I will say, and definitely seem like something that could be a beer can. They will go on sale on July 18th, and they will be available only in Hokkaido, the setting of the anime Golden Kamui. Also, there is a campaign going on where people can win one of 150 packs of 6 regular Sapporo Classic beers and a set of 2 glasses with collaboration art from Golden Kamui. So that's pretty cool. Don't know how you'll participate in that, but if you're in Hokkaido, maybe you'll be able to check it out. And but it's cool to see anime properties and big companies doing collaborations together. Next up, Konami, the video game company we all seem to hate because of how poorly they treat their employees, has posted a 24.3% increase in profits in 2017. So despite how much we hate them, we still seem to buy all of their stuff. They reported a revenue of 239 billion yen, about $2.19 billion in the fiscal year that ended March 31st, 2018, which is an increase of 2.4% from the previous year. The operating profit increased 24.3%. Their biggest segments are digital entertainment, which includes mobile games, card games, video games. The second highest earning segment was amusement machines, such as arcade machines. So the arcade machine and digital and online content is booming, and Konami is taking advantage of that. So, well, good for them, I guess. Next up, Rurouni Kenshin is getting yet another stage play adaptation. The play will make its debut at the Shinbashi Enjo Theater in Tokyo from October 11th to November 7th, and will be followed by a run at the Shochizuka Theater in Osaka in the middle of November. So if you're a fan of Rurouni Kenshin, there's more coming, and the characters that are playing the cast are very attractive people, so you might want to check it out online just to see what they look like. And that's it. This was Mitsugi, and this was your first anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast.
Mitsugi, you'll never believe what happened at the bar the other day. This couple walked in. And they pulled out their phone and started showing me pictures. And so they had this cucumber and they put it right up.
Whoa, stop. Save it for the hentai episode.
Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, Mitsugi.
Yeah, Chiaki?
Have you been keeping up with Persona 5?
No, I fell behind, actually.
Dude, the end of the game is completely insane. We have to talk about it, like, right now.
Let's do it on the Hobby Addicts.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, though, the listener. Want to know what we're talking about?
Then go to AAAPodcast.com/join to get after parties, hentai episodes, and more.
Yep, almost 8 extra episodes of content a month for less than $1 an episode. Go to AAAPodcast.com/join to become a true addict.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。
right, and we're back to the 422nd episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Before we left, we had an intro trivia question for you. The trivia question was, in Dragon Ball Z, Cell absorbs the androids in which order, that those androids being 16, 17, and 18. What is the answer? Anybody know?
I know because I read the doc.
You cheater! How could you?
I did cheat. I'm sorry.
I also read the doc, but I did get it right. But I don't know. Should I just read the answer?
Well, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, in Dragon Ball Z, Cell absorbs 16, 17, 18, but in which order? The answer is 17 first, then 18, and 16 does not get absorbed. Oh,
Yeah,
trick question.
Trick question. He blows 16 up while he's fighting against Goku and Gohan.
That's a good one, Vince.
Yeah, he blows them up. He blows him up, and that's what makes
wrong.
Gohan go crazy during the fight. Is that he watches him kill.
Which
Android
is
16.
awesome. I love that scene.
Yeah, Gohan witnesses Android 16 like playing with the birds and stuff, and then realizes that he's not evil, and then Cell kills him, and then that makes Gohan go crazy. Which
Android 16 could have his own Iyashikei.
Yeah. Where he just plays with birds the whole time. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. he walks around different parts of the world just telling you like, this is this type of bird. They eat this kind of thing. This is their mating song.
Oh my gosh! You know who could have an Iyashikei? Moomin Rider. That'd be great. Just him just traveling around on a bicycle, just helping people. Getting cats on trees. Be great.
All right. Let's do the let's do the iTunes review. Here we go.
Okay.
It's time for iTunes review.
This iTunes review is from Darth Manga, and he or she writes, I enjoy your podcast. I didn't listen to episode 400 all the way through because I love you guys, but not enough to force myself to listen to Black Clover.
Oof.
But other than that, you guys are fun to listen to on my drive to work. Wow. I forgot we subjected people to that.
I'm not offended by this review.
No.
I understand.
Yeah, Black Clover does suck.
I understand.
All
very
right.
much
So we have the much-awaited review of Recovery of an MMO Addict. This is an anime that I have very mixed feelings about.
Okay.
And feel like we will all have a fight about it. So, who would like to begin? Because this was not one of my anime that I picked for us to review. I don't know who picked it, but whoever did should probably lead off.
Was it me?
I don't know.
I think
It
I don't remember.
It couldn't have been you because, well, it could have been.
I thought
it's
it
the
was
same season as-
Kosuo.
it's the same season as Devilman and everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the.
It might have been Kazuo. If not Kazuo, it was me, but probably Kazuo.
All right. Well, anyway, I'll lead it off then. I'll just make it simple.
Okay.
So this anime is done by, what studio did this? Studio Signal, which I've never even heard of. They have done very few things, but the things they have done include Adam, The Beginning, which was pretty recent. They did Cyborg 009, a few animes of that. And then other than that, I don't really see a lot that people would recognize. So there's not much. But the anime started on October 10th, 2017. It is 10 episodes long, which is very short. And it's basically about a girl who quits her job. She's in her 30s. She quits her job at some corporation or whatever and decides that she's just going to play MMOs and, you know, not deal with the pressures of working in society and everything anymore. And so she just decides she's just going to play MMOs, and she meets people online, and she has fun with them and makes friends, and then things grow from there. So this is also kind of like Iyashikei-esque a little bit.
I can see that.
A little bit.
It's kind of like even keel. So I started watching this anime blazed out of my mind, and
Context.
and I really loved the beginning of it. I thought it was really cute. It was well done. It was very interesting the way that they sort of portrayed the. First of all, I wish MMOs were as amazing as the one that they're playing in the anime is.
Yeah,
because,
dude.
Real MMOs are nowhere near. Like, I could see you really getting like falling in love with the character in an MMO if like you could literally have face-to-face conversations with them like that. But I really like the way that they portrayed sort of the way that the games played out, the relationships that they built in the games. It was fun watching the woman whose name is Moriko. They call her Mori Mori-chan, watching Mori-chan go to like
that's so cute.
going to the convenience store and like picking up ramen and shit was really fun. And then of course she begins to develop. She picks a male character, and she meets a female character in the game that's like her best friend, and then they start to become like more than friends. Yeah, Lily, and Lily is played by a real life male person. And so where do we go from here?
I guess so. Yeah, so that's actually not a bad. That's actually pretty good like overview as to what is happening in MMO Junkie. What I initially liked about it was just Morioka, like Morioka. It's Morioka. Yeah. But I think I just love her. Like I truly just love her. She reminds me of all of my gamer trash side of myself. Like she, I like that she's not perfect. Like she's literally just she's just a nerd that's playing games and like stays up way too late to play games, and she's a girl that makes a.
Who does that? That's crazy.
Yeah, who does that? Who plays Overwatch till 3 a.m. every day? I don't know.
That's what I do.
But I think the show starts super strong in the sense they set her up with just the way she talks, the words she uses, her actions are very well thought out. They're very like meticulous because they are consistent throughout the entire show, and whenever she does something, it's not unbelievable. I think throughout this whole show, she is probably the truest character of all the characters, because I think every choice she makes is very true to herself. So I love that. I love that she is a great lead role. Like she's like the coolest lead girl I've seen in a bit. Because she's so real. So real. She felt so real. I do like also that you mentioned how they portray conversations in the game, and the reason I like it so much is because the show does a good job about, like it's an anime, so the conversations are they're dramatized. They're dramatized.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dramatized to seem like conversation, like fluid conversations between these two characters walking around and talking. But then when they cut back to the people Mori typing, you can see the chat box in the anime, so they're just texting each other in the game. But what I like about that is that I played MMOs for a while too, so like when I have this conversation with people in the game, it doesn't feel like text chat. It feels like the way it feels in the anime. So it's a good metaphor. It's a good parallel metaphor that they use to like show you like, yeah, when people play MMOs and are this invested, the conversations don't feel like click text message. They feel very heartfelt because a lot of people are very invested in MMOs. They grow lives in MMOs. They meet their husbands and wives in MMOs. And when those conversations are taking place, when you're getting to know that person that you fall in love with, like the conversations feel much more real than just words on the screen. So it's a really good. I saw it as a metaphor. For how they're feeling when they're talking to each other. Yeah, so that's so the show starts out strong like that, and I guess I'll give it to you, Mandy, to see how you thought about the show starting.
Yeah. So I actually really enjoyed MMO Junkie because I have been in her position. Like I related to this quite a bit. Like Morioka is basically me in my Warcraft days.
Yeah.
Like to a T.
The whole Discord was like, so this is an anime about Mandy, huh?
Exactly. Like to like really insane details. But so Morioka is just I really like that we had an adult who is dealing with an adult issue, like hating the daily grind of your job and wanting to escape it into like escape the real world into an MMO. I didn't like quit my job. I was still working at the time during my MMO addiction, and I do mean addiction. Like it was severe, and the stories that they tell about Warcraft addiction is true. And but I didn't quit my job. I went from job, home, played Warcraft, and that's all I did for almost 3 years. And I really like that Morioka this shows her overcoming anxiety also, and in the story she decides to quit her job and goes into the MMO addiction, and it leads to a lot of problems that I experienced myself. She has to question about whether or not she can, she develops an relationship or friendship with somebody online, and that opens up a lot of questions to her, like, can I show my true self to this person? How much of myself do I put into my character? How much do I tell the other person about me? Can I trust them? What will happen if the guild finds out that we have a possible relationship? These are all things that I've experienced myself, because and I think what I really liked about MMO Junkie the most is that though we don't see much of the actual game, like them playing the game, it reflected MMO culture very
the outside
accurately.
Parts of it, for sure.
Yes, like the social aspect of it and the guild building, because I have been in a guild where the guild leader said no online dating, because that's a problem that when people put so much of their life into a game, that happens. These people, this guild is now your family. These are the only people you're spending time with. And I mean, it's going to be different for person to person, different reasons of why they came into that addiction. Maybe they, they don't have a great family or social life, and so this guild is now their family. And if these are the people you interact with the most, yeah, those relationships do happen. And I've been in guilds where I've never had that problem myself with relationships online, but I've had guilds that said no dating online because dating causes drama, and we don't want our guild to be torn apart by drama. And
we can't do these raids if people have drama. Come on, dude.
Definitely. No playing favoritism, because if you're friends with the guild or the raid leader and they give you gear, everyone else is going to be upset. You gotta, there's, gear systems in place. But, yeah, anyways, out of that, I just thought it showed building a relationship in an MMO in an accurate way, because it showed MMO addiction, I think, in a very accurate way, because then you could tell she's having a lot of fun playing the game, but outside of the game, you can tell she feels a lot of guilt for her current position. She feels guilty buying a card at the store. She's kind of scared to go up there and buy that time card.
Yeah.
She looks at herself in the mirror and reflects on her current appearance. I'm not dressing good. I'm not taking care of my skin. I'm not taking care of my hair. And it's, I thought she felt very real to me. Even down to, this is kind of funny, because it does seem very unrealistic that she would meet somebody in a very close radius to her online, but that happened to me.
Yeah,
it's out of nowhere, out of Warcraft, one of the biggest MMOs in the world. I joined a guild, and we got into voice chat for one of our first raids, and then soon after I got a message and said, so this is kind of weird. I was debating whether or not I should ask you this, because it's gonna seem weird, but are you so-and-so from this job?
What the fuck?
Wow.
And I was
that really happened
what?
to you?
Yes, it really happened to me, and I have witnesses
Dude,
to
this
tell
anime
you
is
this.
so you. What the fuck?
It was 100% me, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I was fake name Andrew, and I used to work with you. And yeah, he ended up moving from that job, quitting that job, moving to California, and I hadn't seen him since then. And I used to have a crush on that guy, and it was so crazy. So we ended up staying in that guild for a while, but of course he lived in California, and so we never developed a close friendship, and I ended up quitting that guild. But yeah, so this anime was very, very much a big portion of my life. It was crazy.
Wow. All right, so then so that's cool. So then I think in terms of just critiquing so far, I think this anime checks the box of MMO culture. Is it being shown pretty realistically? I think that it checks the box that way, right?
I think so. Not so much the game, because I mean they don't really show you. They show you a little bit of them going into a raid, but you don't really get to see a lot of the mechanics. Although I do like that they show some things that other sucked into a game world kind of games that they don't show you. I mean, like for example, logging in, having your avatar stuck in somebody else's avatar, that kind of just little things like that. I like the details. Yeah, I like the details. I like how they showed the guy's crafting animation. We went to craft. I can't remember what he was making. Was it scrolls?
Scrolls, yeah, he made a pile of scrolls.
Yeah, I mean, it showed like the game's animation. I like the little tiny details they put into it.
So
yeah,
I have a number of questions about this show. Like the first question I had, and this was while I was still high, was like, so you have a girl who's playing a guy, and you have a guy who's playing a girl, right? And the girl who is a guy in the game is falling in love with a girl in the game, and the guy who's playing the girl is falling in love with a guy in the game, which makes them both sound at minimum bisexual. So my first question was, what is up with that?
I think a big part of that, and that comes down to MMO culture, is you get sucked into your character and you're role-playing that character.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That character becomes an extension of you. And so I think it's kind of hard because I think she put a lot of herself into her character.
I don't really relate to that. Like I've played MMOs since I was about 8 years old. I played Ultima Online for like 10 years, and then I played EverQuest, and I played Final Fantasy 11. I played Final Fantasy 14. So MMOs have always been around for me. I have never ever remotely come close to anything like that. So it seemed very odd to me as a person who also has a lot of time spent on MMOs. Like that I get what you're saying. Like, oh, they're so deep into their characters. But like, to me personally, having been through the rigor of MMOs, I don't relate to that. I've never felt that way. I've never done that.
I've seen it. I've seen other people get into their characters that deeply. So like, I understand what Manny's saying, but like, I also think like if they are bisexual, then like they just are bisexual too.
I know,
like,
and if they are, that's fine. I'm just asking the
yeah.
question because like I don't think they ever really.
No, totally logical question to ask because I also thought it also because I was like,
it's possible.
That's what's happening. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just took it as them role playing, and she was getting really into her character. But I mean, it's possible.
Well, it's interesting because I think the show does this where they show as Morty is talking to Lily, like in game, Hayato, like her character Hayato would be talking as a guy, but then like on the outside, Morty is like she like celebrates Lee-san with admiration, like for being so cute. So like it'd be like, okay, as Hayato, I'm saying the cute stuff, but then as Morty, I'm just like fuzzy inside for this happening, like it's a separate entity. So I know what you're saying, Manny. We're like, I think they were both just like into their characters living their lives and they were fine with that because there's no super connection to their real life. And then once that connection was made, then things changed.
When I was sucked into Warcraft, I played on a PvP server, but I did also have characters on a role-playing server.
Yeah,
yes. People go hard into that.
Super. That's my favorite shit, though.
Once I grouped up with a guy whose character had a phobia of rain. So whenever it would rain, he would run and hide. People get really into the roleplay.
Yeah, that's...
They talk to each other like roleplaying.
Oh my gosh.
It's intense. I mean, Goldshire Inn. Crazy stuff. Look that up.
Never doubt fucking nerds.
It's legendary now.
I love us. I love that shit. But yeah, so okay, so that's like Morty in context of like the world and everything. What about the supporting cast? So Sakurai-san is Lily-san, the other lead role in the show, the romantic interest. I think he's very sweet. I think they wrote him super well. But you know what? They wrote him super well, and they put all the aggressive like flirty shit into his friend, his coworker.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who was my favorite character of the show because he's me. Because he's me. Because when I see two people that kind of like each other, I'm just like, okay, go on a date. Come on, go tell her. So I think supporting cast wise, the show is awesome also because all the guild members, awesome people. Sakurai-san, awesome boy, like he's a good boy. And his friend plays like the friend that has more confidence, but he has good intentions. So he's just trying to make things work for both of them.
Yeah.
And so supporting cast I think is really good. What do you guys think about the supporting?
I like the guy also. We saw very little of him, who was also the married man, who occasionally his wife would slip on and play his character. That gave me a kick. I think they were like in a raid, and then he started talking in a weird way, and then Kanbei, the guild leader, is like, "You stop playing your husband's character." That one gave me a kick. But I really, really liked that Kanbei didn't become... I can't remember what the actual guy's name. I think that's his character's name, right?
The leader?
The leader. Yeah, the guy who was at the
green-haired guy?
Yeah, the green-haired one.
At the convenience store. I like that he didn't become like a reverse harem type character. You know what I'm saying? Like I was afraid of that at first because I thought, oh, he's gonna have feelings for her too. There's gonna be love like conflicts and yeah, but he was never that. He was just a very dedicated guild leader who was like, I'm just trying to run a guild here. And he was interested in her, but I also like that he was kind of like, she's kind of weird. But, yeah, I mean, and I also thought that the friend was going to be, or was it Koiwai? Was that his name? The guy that you like?
I forget, honestly. So there's like sirens outside.
Sakudai's friend. Oh, it was, I was wondering why you're silent. But anyways, Koiwai, I like that he also, I mean, I thought for a second he was going to be like another love interest, but he was just trying to get his friend to like.
He's just good, best guy friend for sure.
I do love when he made his character though, and he was cracking up how ridiculous he made his character.
Yeah, because that's awesome. Like,
I do that all the time.
He just makes the most ridiculous woman character ever, and he just like is laughing his ass off. Yeah,
he's just laughing like he looks so dumb.
Blonde character.
Yeah, that gave me a kick. I was like, I've been there. I've made stupid characters just so I could laugh at them.
I got to get this in because, like, for me, this anime was a tale of two halves for me.
Yeah.
And I thought that this anime, as a social commentary on Japanese work life, would have been fantastic. I think that it hits the nail on the head as far as the MMO culture, but I think it fails in almost everything else it does. The romantic aspect of this anime, I hated it, and I thought that it was awful. I thought that the anime really betrayed itself. And I'm bringing this up now because I know this is going to lead to a larger conversation, and we don't want to be talking about this for an hour and 40 minutes. Like right off the bat of the show, she explains that she quit working at her corporation or whatever, but they didn't really give it much explanation until there's like a flashback of her like having a dream where she's running away from all these like drones that are just going into the office or whatever. And then it kind of makes sense. Like they don't even need to explain that. Like it's self-explanatory. But this anime, for me, started to go downhill when they started to really drag the real life aspect into it, like the people behind the characters. And by that I mean the blonde dude, whatever the hell his name is.
Sakurai, yeah.
Sakurai. Because like to me, this anime became what every other anime is, and that is a show where and I know this is going to offend people, but like it is what it is. Like this is a show where like they're pandering to Japanese otaku men who want to put themselves in the spot of Sakurai or the girl, where they can pretend like they're them and live their life through them and have like a relationship. It's Handmaid May, it's Oh My Goddess, it's every other show that's like this, and they proved it because the relationship goes nowhere. And like that is because in real life it's the same way that idol girls can't date, is because the minute that the guy starts making out with the girl or something, you've lost the fantasy. Like that girl is meant for the viewer, and they own her, and that is what they are. That is what she is. She belongs to them. And the minute that he starts like making out, or the minute that the male character takes her away from the audience, then it's no longer appealing. And that's the exact reason why they never do what we all want. And I just thought that this anime, it would have been better served to just stick to, here's a problem of Japanese society. And here's a problem that led to another problem, which is MMO addiction. And it could have been an unbelievable social commentary, but instead they had to turn it into like a slapstick comedy where, frankly, the characters don't behave like real people. Like for an anime that's trying to portray real problems, the characters don't feel real. Like she's a 30-year-old woman who acts 14. And he is a 20-something or a 30-year-old guy who acts 14. And I'm like, you don't act like real people. And so, like, I could not put myself I could not place him in a realistic position. Like, she is not going to freak out and, like, start crying and crawling on the floor because she asks for a fried food at the convenience store at the exact moment some other person asks for it. Like, these are the types of reactions that they have in this show. No one living on Earth behaves like that. That is, and if you do, I don't know. It's odd, but, like, those types of behaviors, everything she does results in her crying or freaking out. And I'm like, that is not how people are. And, like, so I just thought the romantic aspect of the show was a horrible failure. And I think that it really cut the anime short because of it. And that's me being brutally honest.
Yeah. No, I see where you can come with those conclusions, but the relationship does go somewhere. They do. It's implied, man. Like, they don't have
implied.
Did you want them to kiss on screen for you to believe it?
It's not that I wanted them to. It's not that I really cared whether they kissed or not on screen. The fact of the matter is, washing dishes together or whatever they were doing at the end of the show is not equal to something that takes her away from the viewer. She is the property of the viewer. It's just how idol girls cut their hair on camera, cry, and quit their careers because they went on a date with a guy. Because the minute that her fans find that out, she no longer belongs to them. This is a very similar thing. They've been doing it in anime for 30 years, and this anime didn't do anything to take itself away from that. In the beginning, yes, in the beginning it did. It felt like a show that was about, you know, this girl, and she hated society and whatever, and so she turned to MMOs and to escape from it all. I get that, but I would have preferred that they have a real relationship, because that would have eliminated the fact that this show was meant to be a pandering piece for horny otaku men, and that's
okay.
And that aspect, that's what it is. I'm not disagreeing that this does pander a bit. Like, but then again, it's also made for that market, though. So, like, how much of it is pandering? How much of it is just a product for this demographic? You know, because if you look at pandering the way you're describing it, everything panders to everything. You know what I mean? Then there's a paradox there. But I see where you're coming from for sure. I do think the relationship is implied, but then at the end, like, if you notice, like, there's a metaphor on the screen where, like, they're walking together and their MMO characters are holding hands walking the other direction. So, like, that's like they're together, man. And, like, in the OVA, it's even more. They're even more together. I didn't watch the OVA, but
and also it's very implied that, they definitely have both suffer from deep social anxiety issues, and that's definitely an issue that comes with MMO addiction, because you don't interact with anybody in the real world. You are sitting in front of your computer all day, from when you wake up to when you go to bed. And these people through a screen, and you're used to being a character, and you don't really react to people the same way when you go out and meet them in the real world.
I mean, I understand. She describes herself as a super neat, an elite neat, because she's like, I'm not like you other neats because I chose this, and I'm a normal person, but I chose to not go to work or whatever. What you're describing sounds more like hikikomori. Like, I don't go out. I sit in front of my computer 24 hours a day because I am socially awkward or I have social anxiety. I'm afraid of people. Like, that sounds more like hikikomori to me. And she doesn't describe herself as that. She describes herself as a normal person who chose to not go to work anymore.
No, but I'm talking about people in the real world. like that's definitely an issue with people who have MMO addiction in this world. I didn't find that very unrealistic.
I think you also have to, I feel like, so because anime, the tone of this anime is more on the positive comedy side. So, like, when depicting social anxiety, like I get what because if you don't buy into the tone of the show, then all her reactions can just seem kind of annoying and like you're just being loud to be loud. But when you have to consider that the show is going for the tone of, like, happy, more funny-ish. So, like, her reactions are like comical exaggerations, you know, to portray what's like subtle social anxiety is, because you can do it one of three ways. You can do it hyper realistically, you can do it comically exaggerated, or you can do it very subtly. So they just went with one of the three options. You know?
If it's meant for comedy, then I don't think that works, because like it's just like every other anime where they try to do comedy. They take a joke and they use it like 500 times. Like, fine. First of all, I didn't buy into her mannerisms, so I found it annoying. But,
right, yeah, then I totally see why you find it annoying. Because if you didn't buy in at first, then later, she's just loud.
Even if I did buy in and it was meant for comedy, I would probably find it funny maybe the first 5 times, and then after that, I'm like, okay, I heard this joke 67 times in this episode, and now we can find a new joke, please. Is how like, and that's what Kazuo would say if he was here, because I've heard him make that comment like at least 7 times. He hates comedy in anime, and he does, and it's because anime takes a joke and they beat it until they beat it like Kratos beat that troll until it was headless and dead and crushed by a 20-ton rock. Like, that's what they do in anime. And if that's the comedy that this anime is delivering, then it's not good comedy. I mean, it just isn't. If Robin Williams got up on stage and told the same joke 65 times, you would laugh once.
Yeah, but Robin Williams is also king of like comical exaggeration. So like, again, it's. I mean, am I wrong?
Well, no, but I would say that that you would feel that way about any comic, regardless of who they were. It could be a no-name comic at like a bar downtown, and he's not going to tell you the same joke 60 times. You know what I mean? Like, he might.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. I really didn't hate this anime. Like, honestly, like I thought it was super cute in the beginning, but like. I've had enough. Like, I mean, I can't watch any more of these anime where it's like about like a romance that never happens. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, give me the extra 4 episodes where they can actually like have a relationship, not some implied metaphor. You want it
to play out?
Yeah, I don't want some implied metaphor of like anime characters holding hands, or the MMO character versions of them holding hands. Like, that's not good enough. It is. I've seen this same thing like twice a season since I was 8 years old. Like, they were doing this in 1993 with Handmaid May, and with Oh My Goddess. They were doing it in 2000 with Handmaid May, and they're still doing it.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I also just want to like just one final, because I don't fully disagree. Because I would also have a lot. Every episode I was fucking squealing to see them kiss, but obviously they didn't give it to me. But I was okay with that. I
mean, did you really think they would?
Yeah,
I never thought that.
If they had kissed, I would have believed it, but I also believe that they wouldn't, and here's why. It's because when you think about Japan in general, like, the people are already not overly affectionate, so that when you put that you put that layer on top, and then you put the other layer where they're like not super social, and then you put the third layer where they're like, not only are they not social, but they're also more social in a different world that's not their own life. That's 3 layers of like no affection with other people. So like, when the show tells me like they're not gonna kiss right off the bat, then I believe it, man. Like, you know. And if they did, I do believe it, but that's because I'm from the West, where like I kiss a girl like within 2 hours of meeting her, dude. So like, yeah, so like it's different, man. It's different. Like, I have to remember that Japan, in terms of like accelerating affection, is like not at the same rate as that.
I mean, I guess I would say that I feel like they tried to do way too much in the time they had. Like, 10 episodes is not long.
That's also kind of true. I would give you that for sure.
10 episodes is not long, and like they tried to tackle working life in Japan, which I'll tell you, they failed at that, because they didn't cover what it's like to work in Japan almost at all. They covered the MMO addiction, the MMO world. They covered that very well. And then they had the romance aspect that they tried to cover, but like, how much can you do in 10 episodes? Like, I feel like you got to pick your goal and stick to it. You can't have everything. You know, it's not a 40 episode show. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree there. Man, you have anything to say before? Are we ready to go to conclusions after Mandy?
What I was gonna say, some criticisms I did have were, well, I really like the character designs, the music sound, the music and the visuals were very subpar. I mean, not that they served for what the show was, but they were nothing like fantastic that really wowed me. But I also want to say that Morioko's voice actress, Mamiko Noto, did a fantastic job.
Super fun.
He had a wider range of bizarre noises and reactions, and she really gave Morioko a lot of personality, and I really liked it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really had to say about it. I think we covered everything. I was also a little disappointed without the solid confirmation of a relationship, but yeah, I mean, also like what Enzo was saying, it was implied, especially if you saw the OVA, they do have a closer relationship, but yeah, I
just want to see them make out, man.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be sick.
I've never seen two characters make out in an anime ever, unless it's a hentai. It's never happened.
It's hentai, baby.
I don't know. Has it ever happened?
Ever? Let me think.
I mean, there's scum squish.
There's scum squish.
Yeah. I never watched
real in
it.
There's definitely kisses in anime for sure, but makeouts. I'm gonna think about that. Yeah, I guess I haven't said any criticism. Criticism for me is like, again, like very creative freedom with her having income to pay this rent. No job.
Although I think she was saving it up, wasn't she?
Yeah, but I mean maybe because I live in New York, that's just that's not a thing you do. And then also like meeting Sakurai in the same town, one guy, totally possible. The store owner too, though. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, all right, okay, anime, it's chill.
I know. I think there are some games that have local servers though, where everybody on the server is local.
That's true too. Yeah, but like that convenience store was like 2 blocks away.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. There could be explanations to it, but I can see it.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's really all I got, because I also think the animation is not the cleanest.
No, it's not.
It's definitely not. It's very not smooth. It's not 60 FPS. Know what I'm saying? Okay, that's really all I got to say though. So I'm ready to go to conclusion scores if you guys are ready too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this show should have, if I had it my way, they would have started the show with her and her company, and they would have spent 3 episodes showing us how horrible it is to work at a corporation in Japan. She would have been at work till like midnight. She would have no life. She'd be eating like ramen at the train station in 5 seconds before the train shows up, that type of thing. And then she would quit and show us that like working in Japan sucks, and that's why no one has any kids, etc., and why I left Japan, and a number of other things. They would do that, and then they would show like the dark side of MMOs. Like she's addicted to MMOs now. She's a hikikomori basically, where she never goes out. And then she got into a relationship online, but she found out that the person she was like falling for wasn't even the gender she thought it was, and so that would fall apart. Like they would show like it would be like they would tackle like the darkness of society and then the realness behind like having an addiction to a video game. But like that's not what this anime did. Like they sort of tried, but they didn't do that. And like that would have been a tighter, better social commentary. But I truly didn't hate the anime. I thought it was extremely fun until they started to drag the real life characters in more than the MMO characters. Maybe I should have watched the whole thing while I was messed up, but I didn't. And so in summary, I would give it 3 animes that I've seen 400 times out of 5.
Oh, the shade.
Cool.
That's it.
Did you say 4?
You go next.
3 out of 5.
3. Okay. Yeah. So I actually really like the anime. But I can't deny that it's not extremely original. I think the characters make this show stand out a little bit more than the other shows that are kind of like this. I do genuinely love Morioka. Like she was best girl for me that year. I think I voted for her for the Crunchyroll Awards. I think she was an option, right? Like to vote for best girl.
I don't remember.
I think she was for the Crunchyroll Awards, so I voted for her. If that's unless I dreamt that, but yeah. I like the characters a lot, even though they took creative freedom with like not explaining how she could still live alone with all that stuff. I choose to overlook that for this because it's not because as Mitsuki was explaining his take on the show, what he would have done, I bought in. My imagination is already writing up the first episode or the first 3 where she's going through her work life, and then she keeps looking over at her PC that she hasn't touched in years, and then one day she's like, you know what, like maybe I'll just play it today, like maybe I'll just try this out, and then boom, like it just ball goes rolling. I like that. However, that's not what I think this show is going for, like the fluffy comedy instead of like the real take, and that's a choice you got to make when you start the show. So buying into the fluffy stuff, I think this anime delivers on the fluffy, delivers on the characters. It reminded me as to why I love playing MMOs, because it really gave us a lot of moments where I was like, oh wow, like I've definitely done that. Oh, I've definitely said that. I definitely do that with my guild. It made me miss my guild with Final Fantasy 14 a lot.
I miss your Final Fantasy 14.
And I will give the show 4 raid first kills out of 5.
Ooh, raid first.
Mm-hmm.
Run first, raid? Run first?
Run first. First run.
There you go. Overall, I did enjoy MMO Junkie. I appreciated how much I felt like I related to the story, because I have been in that position, and I was attached to Moriyoko because of that. And yeah, I mean, it is a fluffy comedy, but yeah, I would say overall, even though I did really, really enjoy it, it never really impressed me. Like, it wasn't something I felt like everybody should watch or would have to watch. It was okay for what it was. Mm-hmm. And like, it never went above and beyond my expectations, which is fine. It was just but when I have to like judge it critically, I think it was okay. It was good is what I'm trying to get at. And it's a fun watch. I would recommend it to people who have played MMOs or have had that deep relationship with their guild, and or developed friendships out of it. And I think I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, which for me is like a 7 out of 10, which for me is good. I think that is a good score. It's not fantastic, but yeah, I just want to say that because I think some people thought 3.5 was a bad score. I'm like, no, it's not bad.
That's not
yeah,
bad.
It's really not.
I think it's good. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's like, honestly, I think even a 3 is a good score. You know, I think a 2.5 is average.
A 3 is, yeah. I guess I liked it more than man did, but I really liked the show like a lot.
I think we watched all of it together, didn't we?
We did watch all of it together, yeah, for sure.
We watched it every week together.
I guess I'm just a sucker for fucking love. God damn it.
But there was no love. There's no love in it.
But I'm so lonely. Help.
I mean, I really
come on, you're the
enjoyed
most social guy in the world.
Mitsuki, buy me a girlfriend.
I will do
that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Don't do that.
I have a girl you can have.
Don't say that on the podcast, please.
Don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Definitely.
You can buy me a pizza though.
I have a cute girl that's in my apartment right now that you could have.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Have your way. You can't beg me to buy you a girl and then reject my offer. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. All right. So MMO Junkie gets a 3.5. I think that's fair.
Yeah. That's very fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Like, I really enjoyed it a lot. I just didn't think it was something, like, amazing. Like, I'm trying to stack it up against everything else that I've watched since I've been on this podcast. So I didn't think it was, like, you know, something that everybody should go out and watch. But yeah, it's good.
It's ironic, but I think that if it had been the way that I suggested, people wouldn't have liked it. So...
Perhaps,
you know, because it wouldn't be too dark and serious for people, and then and that's why it wasn't dark and serious. Like I literally think that the production committee, in fact, the studio might even have wanted it to go that direction, and then the production committee was like, nope, it has to be a guarantee. You know what I mean? So, anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag. All right, so if you want to submit a mailbag on the website, AAAPodcast.com, and on the top of the website, there's a button that says mailbag, and right next to that is the Discord button, and right next to that is join the AAA podcast so you can get all of our exclusive content, so everything is in the same spot for you. Who would like to read the first mailbag from Icy Rose? It is epically long.
You should read it.
Okay, fine. Hello, Pika. I was thinking about some anime adaptations of manga and other that cover specific parts of the source material rather than adapt everything. For example, Wandering Sons anime chose to adapt the part of the story when the characters were in junior high, ignoring the beginning of the story and the high school part of the story, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure OVA covered part 3 instead of the prior parts. I can understand that this as maybe the adaptation decided they didn't have time to do everything justice, so they decided to only cover what they believed would be in the best part to make it stand on its own. As there is a lot of boring running anime out there that seem insurmountable due to their length. Did I say boring? A lot of long running.
You did. I was wondering about that.
Wow, that's weird. That was a Freudian slip, maybe. As there is a lot of long running anime out there that seems insurmountable due to their length, are there any ones you would recommend a specific arc in the middle of the story to a person as an alternative that might get them into the series rather than telling them to start from the beginning? Another good question from Icy Rose.
I got one.
What are we considering long? Like post 20, 30 episodes?
The only thing I can think of on this is, I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is, Enzo, but I think that like shonen anime are a good choice for this because like they tend to come in arcs.
Yeah, they come in hundreds.
Yeah, like giant length with arcs or story arcs. So I don't know. Let's just say more than 50. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I think if it's more than 50, it's pretty long. So.
The Monogatari series is pretty long, and I put down the Ogi formula in the Monogatari series, that arc. It's like the first 6 episodes of Owari Monogatari, and that one, I love that arc so much. It's a really good watch if you ever get the time for it, but don't want to watch all of the Monogatari series.
I would go sticking to shonen like for Dragon Ball Z. Like for people that are really not like super have not been watching it, don't know. I would just put the Cell arc on. Just put Cell arc. Put that in there. Make that be the first arc you watch.
I really don't know. I don't really know what I would say. What I would suggest, honestly.
I just think it's been a long time since I've invested in a super long anime.
I think if you start in the beginning of a show, then you tend to not know what's going on. You don't know like who the characters are. Like I would have said Dragon Ball Z Android Saga, but then I'm like, you're not gonna know what the Red Ribbon Army is. You won't know who Goku is. Like you're not gonna know who the characters are. So like that's really difficult. You know, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is different because the characters are for the most part different. They're new characters to that arc of JoJo, but
Yeah, and a lot of people watched Wandering Sun had no idea that the manga had so much more before that.
I guess maybe I'd say major. Like if you wanted to watch the end where Goro's in the major leagues, maybe that would work. You know, because you know that goes to like his childhood, middle school, high school, pro, after post pro, and then like so. And that's not a super deep show, so you don't need to like know a lot. So I would say major, maybe like one of the later like the section where he's in the major leagues is what I would say.
Cool.
Yeah.
You want me to read the next one?
Yes, please.
Kimba Lionheart writes, "Hey crew, what are your thoughts on Gijinkas? What are your favorite and least favorite Gijinkas? Does Mitsuki believe Gijinkas should be kicked into the anime pit of hell? Though I'm not a follower of Gijinkas." I'm saying it right?
Say dumb shit instead of that. How about that?
My favorite Gijinkas is Earth-chan after seeing her on Facebook. Interested in hearing your thoughts, guys?
I like seeing.
Take it away, dude.
Yeah, for real. I mean, like this is the dumbest shit. I like seeing I like Earth-chan when it's that one really busty cosplayer that does her. Yeah, I like that one. Moe anthropomorphism. Seriously, is that even a question? Like, first of all, why would you indulge in this? And second of all, yes, the pit of hell for sure. And we're gonna and I'm gonna send people down to hell. I'm gonna open up a contract with Satan himself, and I'm gonna tell him, you make this damn pit bigger. I don't care if you have to dig a giant hole in hell itself to the center of the goddamn planet. You are gonna dig that hole deeper because I don't want these bitches to ever hit the bottom. Damn.
Dude.
I said Pokemon because I love the Moe version of Pokemon. And the Magikarp one is hilarious looking.
I don't even know. I don't even think I've ever even like.
Have you ever seen anything like Moe-fied?
I don't think I've ever gone in so deep into the Moe world. I don't dare go that deep into the Moe world to see the personifications of things in Moe form. I will say the Wendy's logo is pretty fucking. I'll give it like
I think somebody Moe-fied all of them, like all the fast.
Yeah, the Wendy's girl though, she's a tsundere, which is like shit. So I will back that character forever.
The Moe, the Wendy's.
She's so good.
Sassy Wendy.
Good lord.
Tsundere Wendy is fucking my aesthetic.
All right, next one.
Alrighty.
All right,
I think it's your turn, Enzo.
Yeah. This one comes from Queen Inoue, who is a active member on the Discord.
I think you missed one, didn't you?
What?
Yes, you did.
Zeldred.
Oh, Zeldred. Sorry, Queen. Zeldred says, "Hello, host. I hope this mailbag finds you all in good health. I'm kind of sick, but so recently I came across a YouTube video that said the Sword Art Online reboot. So it piqued my interest. The video explained the SAO, and is supposed to get a big announcement here soon, and that is probably about a reboot to SAO Progressive, and this mailbag, which I have never even heard of, but was a retelling of SAO by the author. I was wondering if you think that the series could be saved with a reboot from the new novels.
Oh man!
As always, keep up the great work, and can't wait to hear back." So SAO. To me, SAO, it really just fails in its need to like make it a harem. Like I never understood why they had to go that route. Like they did such a good job in setting up the world super well. The first episode to me is a great first episode. The first half of the season is a great first half of the first season. It just took a weird turn after. I'm not familiar with this like news or SEO Progressive or anything, so I guess I'm not equipped to really answer this message. But if these light novels had focused on like the real troubles of being stuck in this virtual world, and not focused a lot of time in like all these girls admiring Kirito, I'd be interested to give it another try. But as of now, SAO is kind of dead to me a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I looked into it a little bit, and apparently he started writing it before the anime started airing. He knew that he made mistakes and wanted to go back and fix it. So I think that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't see. Apparently, he's also considering it canon too. Like it's like apparently, I don't know for sure because I don't know. I'm not too deep into SAO lore, but apparently characters in other arcs are like referring to stuff that happened in Progressive and not the first season of the anime. So,
gotcha.
I mean, I don't see how it could do anything bad. I like rescuing SAO as if it's not already insanely popular.
I know nothing about Sword Art Online, so I gotta abstain.
Have you watched it, Mets? Yes or no?
0 episodes of any.
Okay, I see. Like, I would be interested for you to watch it because I want to know how deep your rage would be. I want to know how angry you would get about this anime.
I don't know if I want to intentionally feel angry.
Yeah,
I
but
get
what if
angry
I
a
gave
lot, but I don't really
what if I gave you
enjoy it.
$5?
Not enough to buy pizza. Sorry.
Oh, god damn it. Okay.
All right, and the last mailbag is from Queen Inoue, and she writes, "Hey guys, I have been listening for a couple of months now, and I love the show. I also love hanging out in the Discord. Damn right. The question is pertaining to anime music, specifically openings and ending themes. I love anime music and listen to it regularly. I'd like to know what your favorite opening is and what your favorite ending is and why. Thanks."
Oh, hell yeah. I love this question. My favorite OP is Nana's OP. And my favorite ED is Ashiki Naruta Nujabes for Samurai Champloo.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I almost said Samurai Champloo too, but I ended up going with the OP for Noragami, and I don't think it's the best OP, but I think it might be my favorite because it introduced me to Hello Sleepwalkers, and now I own all of their CDs.
Nice.
And my favorite ED is Kimi no Uta by Rei Yasuda. It's the ending for this 6th season of Natsume, and it's just so pretty, and it always brings me to tears every time I hear it. But yeah,
nice. I don't know. I like old stuff. I think my favorite opening. I really like both the opening and the ending to Yu Yu Hakusho, and that is Smile Bomb. But I would pick Smile Bomb in Japanese because I think it's better. And the ending theme, which is called how does that song go? Sayonara Bye Bye, I think is the name of it, and that's also in Japanese, and I like that. That ending theme is pretty sweet, so I'll pick that. Especially since they just did they're doing the Yu Yu Hakusho collaboration on Puzzles and Dragons. So Sayonara Bye Bye, that's a good song. I'll take that.
Yeah, the Smile Bomb really is great. I forgot that.
I love
it's
music.
amazing, dude.
It is. I love music from like the 90s in anime because I love how like the voices sound. It's not like young like 15-year-old girls singing. It's like, you know,
it's like fucking disco shit. Dude.
Yeah, it's like fucking they're like 40-year-old women, you know, and they sound like they have like they just has a different sound to it, and I like that sound, so I'm gonna go with that.
Are you aware of the genre city pop from Japan, like back in the 80s?
Probably not.
I want to send you some stuff. It's kind of like one of my favorite genres of music that is kind of dying in Japan or is already dead. I will send you some links. I think you'd like it, man.
All right, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, cool.
All right, guys, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I had fun today, and I'm going to thank Enzo and Mandy for that, and also all of you that are listening, because I love you.
Yeah, we all love you. We all love you a lot.
Nothing but love.
Nothing but heckin' love, dude.
Now go chill out with some anime.
Peace and love.
Go
Peace
get healed
and
up.
love.
And go watch BTS at the Billboard Music Awards today. Woo!
Whoa, shit. He's pumped up. We're going to be doing Devilman Crybaby next week.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about that.
Come on, from Isekai to
yeah, let's go
going straight in.
streams, baby.
and we're also going to be doing the topic is the new holy trinity of bad anime, whatever the hell that means.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I'm not really sure what that means, but I'll figure that out.
Neither do I.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
We'll put something together.
Again, if you guys want to pick up all of our exclusive content, you can do it on the website, AAAPodcast.com/join. You can hear us do our discussion on God of War, which we just did on the Hobby Addicts. And, of course, there's always hentai episodes and after parties coming for you. So, all right, well, speaking of after parties, we're going to do one right now. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Peace out, guys.
Love you.